Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner, episode number 224, The Heroes of Sci-Fi, part number 2. With me tonight to discuss this fun topic is my friend, my co-host, the one and only Mr. Ross Amico. Ross, welcome.
Happy Friday, Roy.
Happy Friday, Ross. How are you tonight?
We are both elated because a happy night, Roy. It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. Oh, I won't. Sorry. That's all I got, Ross. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's more than I got, Roy. Yes, indeed. And then we have the time change tomorrow to finish us off.
That'll just bury us.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. This will bury us, and then that'll be the dirt over us as we get buried.
Yeah.
Anyway,
insult to injury. Yeah.
It's all good. And you have to laugh because prior to the show coming on, Ross and I are scrambling to get everything hooked up. We're trying to make sure everything is going on behind the scenes and, pretty much in that mode. And then when we come on, we are the professionals that we are.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to say hi to Bill, my friend Bill Scarrato. Bill is out there. Welcome, Bill. Thank you for joining us tonight. And Bill's joining us from Harmony Township, New Jersey, and he's viewing us on YouTube. So very cool. And I also want to say hello to Mr. Jeff Rubel, who's joining us from out west. Welcome, Jeff. He's joining us from Utah, and also another friend out there. Everyone is our friend here, but I will just, I don't want to isolate anybody, but Lou is joining us from Rhode Island. Welcome, Lou. And also another friend, Sue, joining us from Massachusetts. Welcome, Sue. And Brennan is out there. Welcome, Brennan. Great to see you. And and Brennan, I forget where you're joining us from. Is it New Jersey? I'm probably going to get a backlash on that. And Bill is joining us from Canada. Welcome, Bill. Good to see you out there as well. And Ross, you're joining us from Princeton, New Jersey, right?
I am. Actually, I carried this backdrop around with me so that, wherever I broadcast from,
There you go.
Could be
Brennan
is where I am. Yeah.
He's joining
Massachusetts, correct.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Brennan.
Correct.
I will make a mental note of that so I do not forget.
So Jeff, Rubel, do you change the clocks out there in Utah, or is that one of the states where you don't have daylight saving? I know Arizona doesn't change the clocks, right?
I think Arizona does not. I think you're right about that, Ross.
There are a few places that don't.
And I'm trying to remember about Utah because Joe's out there, your cousin Joe Metz.
That's true.
And Jeff is saying...
Oh, they do change the clocks just for kicks. Yeah.
There you go. Don is joining us from Delaware. Don, welcome to the show. Great to see you out there. And Sue is saying we're in Massachusetts. Careful, Brennan. Sue's going to track you down.
Play Misty for me.
I'm starting trouble tonight. Yeah, actually, Ross, what is it? It's been 2 weeks since we were on together, right? I think.
It seems like yesterday.
Do you want me to sing that song, Ross?
Play Misty for me, Roy.
Oh, there we go.
I got to take a drink.
No,
I've been deferring this for too long. We started 10 minutes late. Oh man, that was hard earned.
No, it's been a busy day, and it's been a full. So, and it's actually it has been a good day. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah. So anyway, we are covering the Heroes of Science Fiction Part 2. We actually covered this, folks, about 4 weeks ago. And as Ross and I were going through our list, what happened was we did not make it through the entire list. And it was going very well. And we thought, you know what? We'll come back and do this again. So Here we are. We're going to be finishing our top 10 list up. Ross actually might actually have an extra one because he thought I actually had a full 5, but that's okay.
Did you change any years since last time, or did you leave them the same?
I left them the same.
I did too, because I said the hell with it. I'm not putting any more effort into this.
No, because I really put a lot of thought into what I would into the
Yeah,
individuals I was trying to decide upon.
yeah.
And honestly, it really is tough because I mean there are so many heroes of science fiction. And just to let you know, folks, I mean, at least for the ones that I actually personally picked out, there are other choices that I could have also went with, but I kind of went. I think for my picks, it was at least the majority of them were more the obvious choices. Where I think maybe yours, and I don't want to speak for you, Ross, but yours were obscure on some of them, but they were all excellent choices. I thought.
Well, I knew you would pick the other guys, on some of them. I mean, I didn't pick Ragnar from the Vikings, but like Christopher Lee was excellent in Devil Rides Out, and so I mean that I was just trying to think about like what movies I really like and what characters I like in the movies.
Sure.
So, and some of them were obvious, like Spock would be an obvious one,
Right.
but maybe the Duc de Richelieu with Christopher Lee wouldn't be as obvious to. I mean, it might be obvious to people at Halloween, but they might not think about it in March or what have you.
Yeah, definitely. I want to say hello to Claudia. Claudia is joining us, I believe, from West Virginia or Virginia. Claudia, I'm sorry. Please let everybody know. And also, Andrew is joining us from Australia, from Queensland, Australia.
Yeah.
Good to see you out there, Claudia and Andrew. And as the folks that join us from Australia, I always like to say, for them, tomorrow is yesterday.
Oh, there you go. It sounds like the title of a Star Trek episode.
It is episode 21 per season.
Well, I kind of knew it. Yeah, I have some recordings with the Queensland Symphony.
Did you really?
Yeah, they've done recordings. Yeah. So there you go.
West Virginia. Okay, used to be Virginia. Thank you, Claudia. Appreciate that. So as Ross was saying, we were actually going through some of the picks. So what I'm going to do is just to share the screen, just to kind of give the folks out there a little bit of a recap on the choices that we actually went with about 4 weeks ago. So
has it been that long? Has it been a month?
Yeah, it's been a month.
Ooh, wow.
You can believe that. So the first on the list was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, that was a good choice. Yeah. Because, again, it doesn't go right for the core. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, oh, I chose, whatever. But go ahead.
No, absolutely.
And that's right. You had categories for yours. Remember, yours was like the elder mentor or whatever it was. Or yeah. Okay.
Did you? Yeah, and I should have asked you, Ross. Did you do that with this time around?
No,
categories
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Miscreant.
There you go. The next one was your choice.
Yeah, it was the Duc de Richelieu from The Devil Rides Out. Christopher Lee. He was the master of the. He knew he had a scholarly interest in the occult, so he was able to combat the forces of darkness in that film. And if you haven't seen it, it's great fun. Yeah, it's a Hammer film.
Yeah, and I have to say, when you picked that one, that was another one I was like, I don't know. I really enjoyed that film. No, it was a really good film. That, like the Vikings, Ross, came through.
Yeah. Well, I know I had a strong start, and then after that, I squandered it because I started recommending things like Santa Claus versus the Devil, and
we're still not over that yet. It's been 2 years, Ross. Drink your drink.
I like that movie.
That's what you call a bad movie. It's not even like a bad good movie. It's just a bad film.
Hey, I've been watching a lot of Kung Fu recently. Don't start. I'll make you do some Kung Fu movies.
Oh, there you go. David Carradine, 1972, 73.
Or worse than that. I'm talking about real Kung Fu, Roy.
Oh, okay.
Which is to say faux Kung Fu.
The next on the pick was Superman and Christopher Reeve, 1970. Well, it was filmed in 76. It came out in 78. Christmas of 78. So there you go. Oh, Brennan's saying Santa Claus versus the Devil. Who won? I forgot.
Yeah, it's revealed at the end of the same.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I want to say hi to Randy. Randy's joining us from Wisconsin. Good to see you out there, Randy. So that was the first slide of picks. The next one was your choice, and that was Alex.
Little Alex from A Clockwork Orange. Yes. Everybody's favorite hero.
Like I said, Ross, some of the picks.
He's a murderer, a rapist, and a convict by the end of the movie.
And he was a hero.
But he's still the hero because they try to reform him, and you realize that there's some, it kind of shifts the balance, and it's a gray movie.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, very, very.
I'm not
gray.
saying I would emulate Little Alex. I mean,
no,
but
no, I get what you're saying. The next pick was mine for Alan Carter from Space 1999.
Right.
And Nick Tate, you got it.
Yeah.
He was the Eagle pilot. He was the man in the Eagle. So definitely. And, and I will get you to sit down and we will watch some Space 1999 episodes. I was going back and watching our episode, Ross, and you were saying, yeah, I guess maybe I have to try to give it a try and try to sit through it. So
I'll just bring a bottle of whiskey and we'll see how far we make it.
I'll show you the ones that I think that you'll genuinely enjoy. So we'll go with that.
Okay.
And then the next one was your pick?
Yes, the unicorn dog.
I thought so.
All right, it was Spock. But I specifically chose that picture, Ross 1999. Yeah. That smacks of ageism. Yeah.
No, and Spock is really, I mean, is a solid hero in Star Trek, no doubt, hands down. And
so many good photos of Spock.
Oh, absolutely. Andrew's commenting saying Nick Tate was an awesome as Alan Carter. Yes, he was. Absolutely.
Leonard Nimoy was such a good actor to be able to just stand there with that dog.
Now, let me ask you a question, Ross. Have you seen The Enemy Within?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, I know the dog is the least of Nimoy's problems in that episode. You got Shatner doing his thing.
No, that's a pivotal episode too.
I know.
It's one of my favorites, but I won't go down
fun.
that.
It's fun. I know. I can tell that I'm going to be frying an egg on your forehead if I go too far. Yeah.
Don't be messing with my 1999.
I'm not going to say anything bad about Shatner.
And don't be messing with Star Trek.
I'm not messing with Star Trek.
Okay. And then speaking of William Shatner, Captain James T. Kirk.
There he is. And he's got your favorite shirt on too.
Yep.
Favorite uniform.
Second season, second round, whatchamacallit, wraparound tunic. And
is that your favorite, or do you have another one that you prefer?
No, that's my favorite. In fact, there are two versions. Well, actually, there's three wraps. There are actually two versions of the second season wrap, and that is actually my favorite because it has the gold trim. It does not have the black trim. And this was where it was introduced in the Doomsday Machine. And then the subsequent episode was Wolf in the Fold, where it actually has it. So next time you watch it, just take notice of it. But yeah, definitely, that's my favorite uniform out of them all.
I also like the one where the early episode there where they're playing the 3D chess or whatever, and they've got the early uniforms on with the collars.
Yes, absolutely. And that's from Where No Man Has Gone Before, the second pilot. Andrew commented, love Spock as well. Leonard Nimoy was a great actor in the role. He was, absolutely. I mean, nothing but positive things to say about his portrayal.
I'd almost say he made the show, but Shatner was so good with the two of them were so good together,
They were they complemented each other. They really, really did. And, when the show came out, it wasn't, I mean, we could do a whole show on this, but it was really, I think William Shatner was even thinking it was really going to be, it was advertised really, I think, with Kirk being the lead and, the supporting actors, but the supporting cast, I mean, if you think about it, Leonard Nimoy, how he stepped up. And then even with DeForest Kelley, I mean, DeForest Kelley was not in the opening credits for the first season. I mean, he was a supporting character, just like, James Doohan and Grace Lee Whitney, Nichelle Nichols, George Takei. But it's just, Sue's commenting, Roy, please let me know when you can list our personal heroes for you to include in your list, please. Sue, you can list them anytime into the show you want, and we will make reference, and I will come back to them. So we're just going through the recap, so you can definitely do that at any point. Ross, the next pick was yours.
Yeah, I tried to go pre 1960 because I don't know. It's I love The Thief of Baghdad, the 1940 movie, and the genie. As in every version, it seems steals the show. Rex Ingram in this film was Sabu. Yeah, he just I love the movie throughout, but when he comes on, it just goes to a whole other level. And so he's the djinn, the genie, and he's kind of a trickster. They always try to trick you out of getting your 3 wishes, and
right,
that kind of thing. So
I actually never saw that movie, Ross, so I'll have to definitely go back and check that out.
Yeah, it's got one of my favorite film scores by Miklos Roja, actually.
Okay, that's a name we know from the show.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. Yeah, he was active into the 80s. And in fact, we did somewhere, was it Time After Time?
Yep.
And that was like 79 or something, and he was still writing scores. And, this is 40 years earlier.
Malcolm McDowell, too. And you just mentioned him.
Malcolm McDowell was in it also. Yeah, playing against type. He was the hero. I mean, the genuine hero, H.G. Wells, as opposed to the anti-hero, Alex.
Exactly. And then my next pick was Sarah Connor. And Linda Hamilton did a wonderful job. And what's interesting, too, is the transition. I mean, she's more of a victim in the 1984 Terminator movie, and then turns into this really, I'll even say it, like almost like a badass type of character, but it's more, she's a hero of circumstance because of everything that's happened, but she's still a very strong force, and she comes through to save humanity.
Yeah, James Cameron has a talent for that, taking the original film and ramping it up for the second film.
He sure does.
Turns everybody from a victim into a fighter. Did you go ahead? What do you say?
You can't wait to see the heroes this week.
And did you see the most recent one that she was in, the Terminator?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes, we saw that. That came out about 2 years ago?
Probably. Yeah. I'm sure it wasn't anywhere on the level of the second film. As soon as they get up to like number 10 on any franchise, just give up. Usually after 2, it's enough.
Yeah, this is true.
It's hard to keep that going.
Hold on one second, Ross. I'm just trying to bring this up here. Okay, I think I got it. And then I'm going to go to the next slide. And the next one is going to showcase. Oops.
Thanks for putting these together, by the way.
Oh, no problem.
Roy and I were really scrambling within 90 minutes of the start of the show tonight to get this together because we were both busy this week, especially at the end of the week. So, Gandalf. Yeah.
Yep.
Sir Ian McKellen, who was the perfect Gandalf, I thought. For an actor I liked and a character I liked in a series of movies that I disliked intensely. So I wonder if anybody else has a choice like that, or an experience like that where you actually hated the movie, but you kind of like the actor that was in the movie.
You know what, Ross? That would be an excellent topic for discussion.
Yeah. All right. We should do that.
Movies that, films that we hated, but characters that we love that were in those films. Yeah. That's an interesting twist. That would be really good.
Films we love to hate or hate to love.
Yeah.
Or something.
Now, I know, to be fair, I know Mike and Mary Beth have done just something like that recently. Okay. Yeah, no, they're doing that actually with TV shows actually this next week. But I'm talking about films that we dislike, but characters that we love. I think it's a different type of twist. I think that would be interesting as far as the discussion. And it would take some. I'm sure there's a lot of them out there, but it's just that we're so diluted by them that
Yeah.
we don't even. It's kind of like we're on automatic pilot. You just kind of
Yeah.
like just watching like, oh yeah, so and so was really good in that, but I just hated the story or whatever.
Yeah. I can think of a lot of movies I was embarrassed by, but I liked the character in. Like the movies were kind of puerile or they just weren't well done, but the character was cool.
Yeah,
Kind of,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Bill saying Ripley from the Alien franchise. Yep.
Mhm.
Ripley. She was another one. Sherry's out there and she's joining us on YouTube. Hey, hun. She's saying, hey, guys, couldn't get on Facebook, so logged into YouTube. Just tuning in now. My big hero way back when was the Bionic Woman.
Ah,
Sherry was a huge Bionic Woman fan.
were you a Bionic Bigfoot fan?
Yeah. I actually watched $6 Million Man. Well, we've talked about this on the show.
Yeah.
And also the Bionic Woman. And something recently just came up under a Facebook memory I think it was on the Bionic Woman's page, that there was a specific episode that came out like literally like yesterday or the day before on the date. And it was, I think, in 1978. I'm like, oh my God, that's like 46 years ago this episode came out. And I remember watching it, when it was on.
Did it have the fembots?
It wasn't the fembots. I don't.
Good.
No, what were you going to say?
Was John Houseman in that episode? Did you tell me?
He was.
Oh,
He was
man.
that was a 3-parter, Ross. They did it. They started on the Bionic Woman, and then they went to the $6 Million Man as a crossover.
That's what
And
they do
then
in comics. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they came back to the Bionic Woman. But he played Dr. Franklin, and he was the creator of the fembots.
Yeah. You know what? I just rewatched 3 Days of the Condor. And
that with Robert Redford, right?
With Robert Redford and Max von Sydow, but it also has John Houseman in there. And of course, you think that he's going to be the villain immediately because whenever he's in a movie, it's like, oh, he's going to be the villain. But
that's an excellent movie. I watched that not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think Sherry and I watched that. It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Because Max von Sydow is the villain in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's the hitman. He's kind of there's kind of a, I mean, he's not a good guy, but you can see he's, he follows the money. It's like, if he's not getting paid or whatever, he could be your best buddy. But if you pay him, he's going to knock you off.
Who was the woman? That wasn't Meryl Streep, was it?
No, it was Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
75, I'm thinking that came out.
Possibly. 75, 76. It might be 75. Yeah.
Yeah. Sue commented, Roy, many people who are heroes of circumstance, but they are still 100% a hero because when faced with adverse circumstances, some people rise to the challenge and save the day, but some may run away. Lots of laughs. Very true, too. It's very, very true. And Brendan said, I posted RoboCop earlier. I had problems with the movies themselves, though. Yeah, good example.
Yeah, exactly. It's
good example.
It's kind
Brennan.
of a cool character, but yeah. I don't think I've ever seen RoboCop all the way through. I think I shut it off, after the big violent scene at the beginning, toward the beginning.
I saw that movie back in the day. I think it was, when it first came out. But they did a lot of sequels to that, but I think I fell off after the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the same. It was just too violent, though. Yeah.
It was incredibly violent. May
Just
said
like
Newt from Aliens.
Yeah. Just like, Ian McKellen was terrific. I thought of some other actor I thought would have been a good Gandalf, but now I forget. They offered it to Connery.
I didn't know that.
But he, he felt like he got burnt. What did he do? Where he felt like he couldn't understand the script, so he said, "I'm not doing it." And then, of course, Lord of the Rings took off, and he would have gotten a percentage of the profits and everything. Instead, he did League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Unless he did that before this, and he said, "I'm not doing it anymore."
Could be.
In any case, he turned it down. Yeah.
I'm not sure who you mean, Randy. Randy's saying, just thought about this. The XO from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. The XO. Claudia's saying G car.
The car.
Oh, it's a great one, G car. I don't know who that is.
Do you know who the character is?
I don't.
G car. Somebody tell us what it is. We're on the outs on that
Yeah,
one.
we're slipping. Oh, Crane. Oh, Commander Crane, you're talking about, Randy. Yeah, absolutely. Lee Crane from Voyage to Bomb the Sea. Yep, agreed. That was Sue's number 2, she said. So,
For the record, for as much as I like Connery, I think he would have been a bad Gandalf.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
My next pick was from the last time was Dr. Sam Beckett, and that would have been from Quantum Leap. And I wanted to make sure to include the both. I have Dean Stockwell in the picture with him, with Sam, but yeah, Sam was
and I've never seen that. I don't think I've seen that show all the way. I don't think I've ever seen a whole episode, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The Narn from Babylon 5. Oh, okay. So I've never seen Babylon 5. So
no, I haven't either. I've only seen like maybe
Gakar or Gakar. I don't know. How would you say it? But
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Gakar. And then your last pick, Ross, was
Agent Cooper from Twin Peaks, and I had to choose this photo. This is why I was so upset last week when you couldn't get the photos, because it's like, this is essential. It's got the coffee and the pie, and plus they kind of saint him with the pie behind his head. You know, he's got the halo going there.
Right.
But yeah, that was a fun series. Quirky, to say the least. I have not seen the third season, the recent one, the return or whatever they called it.
Yep.
So don't spoil it for me. I don't think anybody can really figure out what went on in the series anyway, from what I hear, but I don't want to hear much about it without seeing it.
Are you going to check it out?
I'm sure I will. I was such a fan of the such a fan of the first 2 seasons, even though it kind of dropped off. There was enough of the quirk going on to keep me going, even though I could kind of feel like they were feeling their way around, because they solved the big mystery, too soon. There was pressure from the network to reveal who the killer of Laura Palmer is, and that's kind of what keeps the show going. There's a murder. They find a body in the first episode, and then that's why the FBI comes to Twin Peaks, and you get to know all the characters there. So it's kind of a mystery, or it is a mystery, but then it starts taking on all these very surreal and maybe even supernatural overtones. And all the while, of course, is like, a lot of hipster music and, coffee and pie and free association and nonsense.
I never got into that because I never really saw it.
Yeah.
Which is probably a shame.
Yeah. You could try it out, It's kind of addictive.
And how many seasons were there, Ross?
I think it went 2 or 1.5. I can't remember. It was one of those things where I think they canceled it after the first season, but there was a fan backlash. Like everybody wrote in, and this is the old days before you could email. Everybody had to send snail mail, so they brought it back, but it didn't make it through.
Claudia's saying I really need to watch it. No, I'll definitely add that to the list, Claudia. I'll take you up on that, along with Ross's opinion on that. So.
Yeah.
It's more I'm listening to Claudia than you, Ross. No, I'm just kidding.
You'll like it more if you like caffeine and sugar. If you like coffee and pie, you'll really love it.
There you go. You know what? I could go for pie right about now.
And dancing dwarfs.
That sounds really good. Now you're getting me hungry.
Nothing makes Roy hungrier than a dancing dwarf.
No, just to mention a pie, though.
Yeah, I should have put on the War of the Gargantuas. Should have been one of my heroes, the good Gargantua.
There you go.
Yeah. Russ Tamlin was in both Twin Peaks and War of the Gargantuas.
Oh, okay.
By coincidence.
Whoops.
By coincidence. Oh, is that the end? You're doing the shout outs now? Good night, everybody. Don't forget to change your clocks.
So now that we've gotten everybody caught up, what we are going to do is we are going to continue with our list. So my next pick that was on my list was and is the humane hero, Dr. Leonard McCoy. And
good.
That goes without saying. I mean, McCoy in Star Trek. I mean, you had the action hero, you had the logical hero, and then you have the humane hero. And I would say McCoy fit that. Oh, wait a minute. Something like Sherry is at the store and asking if I want a pie. Ooh. Yes, please. Apple, please.
Where's my pie?
Yeah. I really shouldn't do that, but
you got these people tuning in every week and nobody's ever sent me a pie. Leslie offered to make me a pie.
A pie in the face.
To her. That's after she got to know me, baby.
Poor Leslie isn't here to defend herself.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she has to defend herself when she's going to give me the pie in the face.
Andrew said I watched Vince and Roy Finnis in The Invaders when I was a little kid. I used to watch with my dad back then. Yes, excellent choice too, Andrew.
Yeah, Roy was kicking around doing The Invaders at some point. I have to get a hold of some of the episodes.
Yeah, we definitely are going to talk about that. Oh, by the way, Jeff Rubel saying, "Okay, Ross, you're a pie."
Oh, it's that damn genie. always tricking me with my wishes.
One down, 2 more left to go, Ross.
Thank you so much, Rex Ingram.
There you go.
So long, little master of the universe.
But no, getting back to McCoy, though, I mean, in regards to his sacrifice and just always being there for Kirk, being there for Spock, one episode that really comes to mind, in fact, I don't know if he's tuning in tonight, at least on the YouTube, is a fellow actor from the Murder Mysteries and from Country Gate, and it was Doug. And he was playing the part of Ben in the show. And Doug actually is a classic Star Trek fan. So if you're out there, Doug, I want to say hi. Hope you're tuning in, or if you catch us on the reruns. And he had mentioned an episode. He was asking me, Roy, what's your favorite Star Trek episodes? And mind you, we're talking about this like, in between the acts, and we're kind of going over, we're eating and we're doing our stuff, and anytime to talk about Star Trek. And I said, wow, it's a loaded question. I said, well, Doug, what is your favorite episode? And he said that he really enjoyed The Empath. And it is a really, the third, I'm not a huge fan of the third season. There's probably maybe about 12 to 14 episodes out of the third season that are ones that I really enjoy, and then the rest are not so much. The Empath I really wasn't a fan of when I was growing up. It was more, it wasn't so much action orientated, and it was a lot of dialogue, and it was them being caught by the aliens, and what was it, the my goodness, I can't even think of the name of the race. Doesn't matter. But anyway, it's an episode about sacrifice, though, about compassion, about feeling, and the Vians of Manara. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get this one woman, Gem, who has the power to heal by touch, to be one that would be willing to sacrifice herself for her race, because then she can essentially move that on to others of her kind. And what's happening is they're essentially torturing the crew, Kirk and Spock in the process, and McCoy. And what happens is, with the injuries one alien, or Kirk gets, or Spock gets, or McCoy gets, actually it's Kirk and McCoy that get injured, what happens is they're more life-threatening, and she can save them, but she's afraid, and they're trying to show how each of them is willing to sacrifice for the others. And McCoy ultimately takes the sacrifice where he hypos Spock, he hypos Kirk, so that the Vians will essentially torture him almost to death. And he doesn't even want her, Gem, to save him, because he knows that if she attempts to do that, she'll die because his wounds and injuries are so near death. And it's just it's a beautiful story. The music is incredible, and it's a home run. And I was very taken that that was one of Doug's favorite episodes. So, but anyway, it's a wonderful example of how McCoy is such a hero. Just one of many examples in Star Trek.
Yeah, and it's so skillfully constructed that Roddenberry set up the whole Kirk Spock thing, where Spock is the logical one, and even though he has clearly emotions, he masters the emotions, and he's very placid, and everything's very logical. And then McCoy, on the other hand, is always, he's got the emotional kind of knee jerk reaction to stuff. It's like Spock, right. And the fact that they're like, it's not quite the angel and devil on Kirk's shoulder, but there's that tension between the two of them, and Kirk's like always the kind of the mediator.
No, and we were talking about The Enemy Within earlier, about the episode with the dog with Spock, and that's like one of the first episodes. I think it was episode 5 if you don't count the pilots. I mean, so really it was the third episode filmed where you had Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. And in that episode, you see the tension with McCoy and Spock and Kirk trying to deal with it. And it's just their camaraderie really came through.
Is that now? You're going to correct me, but is the unicorn dog the first time he says he's dead, Jim? Because he says that on the transporter about the dog.
Yes.
Dead Jim.
Yes. Yes, it is. It is the first episode. Yes. Good trivia question.
And I had a very inappropriate reaction to hearing that. For as much of an animal lover as I was, just to see the dog in that crazy suit with the unicorn thing, and McCoy go, "He's dead, Jim."
Yeah.
Oh boy. And
it's like Brendan said, the ego, the superhero,
yes,
the super ego, and the id. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, now I'm going to go to.
Now we've covered all the principles, the three principles of Star Trek.
Yep, we sure did. And I'm going to go on to your next pick, Ross. And
Egon Spengler from Ghostbusters, Harold Ramis.
Yeah,
I chose him because I just thought it was a very amusing performance, and he was my favorite of the Ghostbusters. Harold Ramis is not really an actor, even though he's been in a lot of movies and television shows. He's more of a comedy writer. He was on SCTV. He was under the writers on SCTV with John Candy and Eugene Levy and that whole crew. And he was also one of the forces behind films like Animal House. He co-wrote it, and he's in Stripes with Bill Murray. But I always had the impression they'd kind of dragged him in front of the camera. He was more of an idea guy, but when you watch him all the time, he's just barely, keeping from cracking up, from breaking or corpsing or whatever you want to call it. And in this one, he has such deadpan lines. Talk about Spock, when they see the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and Bill Murray tells him to do something about it, or what, any thoughts, and he says, "Sorry, Venkman, I'm terrified beyond the capacity for rational thought." And just the way he delivers that line. I have not seen the new Ghostbusters, which apparently hinges a lot on his character, but I'm not sure how I feel about the whole idea of rebooting the series. The second film was not anything to write home about to begin with. I thought it should have been a one-off, but of course they got to keep it alive because they can make money off of a recognizable, franchise, recognizable name or whatever. But anyway, I enjoyed the movie. I didn't think it was like the best movie ever, but it was an enjoyable movie, and I thought he was great fun in it. And I also liked Annie Potts, though, and you had Rick Moranis, and so I remember we were seniors in high school, and we got Kmart was still open, and we got the mechanics jumpsuits. We got them, and my friend Paul painted the patches with the ghosts on them and did the names and stuff. And we went around Heritage Day in Easton that year with a vacuum cleaner strapped to our backs.
We know it's really funny you're saying about that. Well, two funny stories. One, and I will not mention any names. That was, hey, Leslie. Leslie's out there too.
Ah, there she is. We were talking about you, Leslie.
I think your ears were ringing, Leslie.
Yeah, talking about the pie. Your pie you owe me.
Ross is looking for the pie, Leslie, that you're going to give him.
Where's my pizza pie?
And I said pie in the face.
You did too.
What I was going to say is, yeah, that movie came out in 1984, like you said, because it was we were seniors. That was actually, I remember going to that movie with somebody whose name I will not mention. And it was funny. I saw the first 15 minutes of that movie and I saw the last 15 minutes of that movie.
Wow. It must have been a makeout movie.
It was a makeout movie.
Wow.
First time making out in the movie theater, and it was seeing Ghostbusters.
Ooh. It's
Yeah.
a good thing I already ate. Wow.
Anyway, that's what I remember about Ghostbusters. And then you know what's funny is I never saw it again.
Wow.
So anyway, it's time to revisit it. But Leslie is saying,
so you're haunted for other reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Well, as soon as the peaches are in season, you'll get your pie, but you got to come here.
I know. She's always saying I have to come get it. I guess that's what you have to do for a free pie.
Oh boy, Sherry's still out there. She said, "I thought you were going to go get the pie, hon." Well, you never told me that one.
Oh, you mean it wasn't Sherry at the theater?
What was that?
You mean it wasn't Sherry at the theater?
Back in 1984? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Ross is trying to get me in trouble.
Oh, I'm trying to get you in trouble.
Anyway.
You left yourself open to that one, pal.
Yeah, I know. That's all good.
That's all good. Here goes your pie. Yeah.
We can discuss music and movies, Leslie said.
All right. Sounds good.
Anyway.
We'll make a date.
Sounds good. Do lunch.
And pie.
Yeah, and pie. There you go.
I can buy you lunch and you can give me the pie.
You throw me the apples and I'll throw you the pie.
What sort of skullduggery is this? And your briefcase filled with peanut butter sandwiches.
Yes. And then the other story I was going to say that Sherry is actually interjecting about is Sherry and I actually dressed up as Ghostbusters for Country Gate when we had the Halloween party when Bill, that's out there, had the Halloween party at his house, and it was in the annual Halloween party, and we got what we did was we actually entered and we were blaring on the boombox Ghostbusters. So.
Elmer Bernstein did the score for the movie, but you wouldn't know it. Mud pie. No pie for you. Yeah, Elmer Bernstein did the music for Ghostbusters, but you wouldn't know it because everybody knows the pop song that kind of got played through the movie.
Right.
Yeah. But
now,
good.
From what I've heard from different sources, this movie that's coming out sometime soon is supposed to be really, really good.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen the last one, and I probably, I wouldn't shut it off if it came on, but I'm not going to look for it.
Well, I heard the last one wasn't good, but this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think this one they're going to get right. But don't quote me on that.
It's kind of hard to get right. Yeah, they shouldn't make sequels 40 years later. There's got to be a moratorium on sequels. Nobody wants to see their heroes get old and decrepit. Bill Murray, who refused to make the Ghostbuster sequels while he's in his prime,
I know.
Says, "Oh, now that I'm 78 years old or whatever he is,
right.
Show me the money."
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's true to the film, the original, and it's entertaining. And we'll see.
Nothing against Bill.
No, not at all.
Nothing against Bill Murray, but I don't know. So Venkman. Yeah, right.
So Brennan's writing, Murray's Venkman wouldn't qualify as a hero because he liked to torture his students with electric shocks for his amusement.
Yeah. Remember, I chose little Alex. So
this is true.
Yeah. It was the whole taken the whole. It brings back William Atherton. Oh, the next one brings back William Atherton. Really? Okay. I'm almost there for that. But he's going to be 1,000 years old.
Wow. Now, Sue's saying, Roy, please tell Ross, did you see the first new Ghostbusters Afterlife from 2021?
No, I didn't. I did not. Yeah.
Sue, I didn't see that either, and I heard that it wasn't. I mean, I see what you're saying about a wonderful tribute to Hal Ramis, but I heard that the movie wasn't that good. But
yeah. So what are you going to say?
Matt, hey guys, I just woke up from a spine-tingling nightmare into this nightmare.
Hey Matt was in the Matt was in the Philadelphia Inquirer today, everybody.
Really?
Yeah, not for the reason you think. He's in there with his ukulele. So if any of you subscribe to the Philadelphia Inquirer, you should be able to find Matt's picture in there.
Well, there you go.
I have to tap my my sources. I know a couple of subscribers are going to see if they'll gift me the article.
There you go.
Because I don't subscribe to the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Leslie said Afterlife was pretty good, better than the second one of the female reboot. Looking forward to the new one.
Hey, but if you don't like that female reboot, you're one of those trolls. Never mind the fact that it probably wasn't a very good movie. It's your fault. I love how the studios do that, how they turn it on everybody now. It's like, whoa, it's because you're a bad person. It's like, well, wait a minute. Maybe the movie wasn't good.
Hang on a second, Ross.
Oh, okay.
The suits are coming. There? Yeah, the suits are on their way, Ross. Nice. Way to go.
Yeah. Well.
Well, it's all good.
I'm not trolling people on the internet about it. I'm just offering my 2 cents.
It's okay. Leslie's got your back. She says, I'm a girl and I thought it was unnecessary.
Okay. Get back in the kitchen and make that pie.
Oh, boy.
I'm just being deliberately outrageous.
We're going down and we're going down fast.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ross.
Yeah.
The next one.
People aren't big on irony, but I think your audience gets it. I can't do that in the wider world there. Yeah, watch it now. All right, so Leslie doesn't get it either. So
the next pick that I had was
there you go, Flash.
The comic book type hero, and that would be Flash. Flash Gordon.
I like the movie.
Yeah, but there's a big but coming.
I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear.
I thought you were gonna.
No, I was going to say some stuff, but then I realized this is your choice. I want to hear it.
Yeah, I really, really like this film. I very much enjoyed this film. In fact, my Joe Metz, your cousin who we mentioned earlier, myself, I think Joe Brickman, and then Leslie, I think maybe even you were around too in regards to maybe going one of the times. Ross, I don't.
Is that you falling into the pit onto the spikes? Ross, as Roy like Clytus falls on the spikes.
The boar worms, not the boar worms. The boar worms. No, I was going to say, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I think, because this came out in, I think it was Christmas or around, it was in December of 1980, and I don't think we had connected at that point. I think it was more in 81. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, with that said, but we went actually, the group that went to this that I was a part of went to see this movie 3 weekends in a row. And I remember that so clearly. And again, thinking back to that was like 43 years ago is insane. But no, it was just a fun movie, and it didn't get old. And was it campy? Absolutely. I mean, was it out there? Absolutely. Was it cartoonish? Absolutely. Was it comic bookish on some levels? Absolutely. But it was fun. It was a fun movie.
Yeah, when you say but, it should be and.
Yeah.
But it was fun and it was fun. Not but it was fun. It was fun for all the reasons you mentioned.
It really was. It really was. And I still I very much enjoy watching this film to this day. mean, sometimes Sherry shrieks when I put it on, but it's it never gets old for me, and I just very much enjoyed it. I think Sam J. Jones did a great job with it. I think it's unfortunate that they dubbed him, and stuff happened. Suzanne, who I'm friends with and who's a friend of the show, and she was Barbara Bain's stand-in. She worked on this picture, and she said essentially too, where they shot this was almost like a big factory, or essentially, and it was just, when you saw the sets, they looked so cheesy in person. She said it was just kind of hard to believe that people were gonna like it, but that was the fun of it though, and it really, it just, I don't know, it just never gets old. And to me, I always compartmentalized this movie. It had different sections, and the whole thing with Topol Topol, you talk about theater and everything in regards to what he did and everything.
Tevye. Yeah,
Tevye, exactly. And
yeah.
in fact, Bill was Tevye in Countrygate. Just, I'm giving a shout out to Bill. And Sherry played one of the daughters the one time, and then she played his wife in a later show. So, but just,
well, wasn't it Dino De Laurentiis that was so that had like that kind of, I could say this because I have Italian blood, but it had that kind of Italian vulgarity to it.
Sure.
And Fellini was interested in doing it at a point too, but it was so garish and so
garish. That's a good word for it.
Yeah. But like you say, it's a comic book brought to life. And I'll say, to your point, because I know you like to say that, but to your point, back in 1980, like home video was not a thing. You know what I mean? It's like, if you wanted to see a movie, you had to see it then. So you go see it 3 times or something like that. You don't know the next time you're going to see it. It'll turn up as a movie of the week in a few years. It'll be the Sunday night movie, Flash Gordon. Now with an extended, cut. They'll break it up over 2 nights and put all the extra deleted footage in there. The cast was fun. I enjoyed it. I liked what they did with it. I thought that Max von Sydow again was perfect as Ming.
Exactly. Ming, perfect.
Timothy Dalton as Prince Baron. It's like these were all. And how can we forget? What was it?
Pre-James Bond, before he was James Bond.
Right. And Brian Blessed. I mean, come on. I mean, that cast is amazing. And when Peter Wingard was Clytus, I didn't even know who he was at the time. It was only since then that I realized who he was. But he had such a great speaking voice. We never got to see his face.
Clytus on board.
Yes. An obscure body in the SK system, Your Majesty. Yes.
The inhabitants call it the planet Earth. Yeah, just
how
such
peaceful it looks. Yeah. See, because we could recite these things because we did go see it 3 weeks in a row or 4 weeks in a row. But I'll tell you though, the thing about this movie is that I thought that Flash was the weak link. They had such a colorful supporting cast, and it's only later when we went to do the film that I found out that there was so much stuff going on behind the scenes with Sam J. Jones and with the approach they wanted to take with the movie. So, might not.
Dino De Laurentiis wanted to play it straight. I mean, Don just commented. Jason King, yes, exactly.
Jason King, right? And he's in a couple of Avengers episodes, and but
he was very Dino De Laurentiis. My understanding is he was very insulted that it was the approach, because he was insulted that it was it was almost like a parody, and it's like the direction.
Usually I would agree, because they're better when they play them straight. But this movie, they just totally embraced the camp, and somehow managed to do it without being cloying. You know what I mean? It wasn't. They kind of. I don't even know if they quite wink at the camera, but it manages to be so high camp and so entertaining. I mean, come on, you bring Queen in there to do the soundtrack.
The music is fantastic.
and the crazy psychedelic spacescapes and the ships and everything else. Now, I'm a huge fan of Buster Crab. I love the old serials, and I still watch those from time to time and enjoy them. Look at this flickering light here. You probably wouldn't notice it if I didn't point it out, but if Every once in a while, the image goes woo. But anyway, so seeing Sam J. Jones took some getting used to as Flash, but I know he has a following, and now I'm used to it. And I know the Hague loves him too.
No, he's really good. And I actually got to meet him. I met him at where was it? It was at the Maryland convention 2 years ago. Really nice guy. In fact, I actually mentioned about trying to get him on the show, but he said he really doesn't do podcasts too often. So maybe sometime we'll see. Brennan just commented, yes, and that Lorenzo Semple, who also wrote 3 Days of the Condor. Lots of laughs.
Right.
And Batman. He did the Batman series, wrote the
right.
The scripts in that.
Sometimes
I was just going to say, and Andrew commented about this, and you mentioned Brian Blessed. I mean, Brian Blessed was in 2 episodes of Space 1999. He was Mentor and he was Cabot Rolland, respectively in the second and first season. And his line really went. You could almost say it goes viral. Is when he goes dive, because when he does like advertisements or he's doing like interviews and somebody asks him about that, he's cracking the lines.
He's always doing Gordon's alive.
Yeah, exactly.
But back in 1980, there you go. Back in 1980, things were still special. When they did a Flash Gordon movie, or when they did anything that was high concept like that. I remember when they did the Popeye movie. It's like, what? Oh, the Popeye movie. It was kind of. It wasn't like now where everything was just they would just kind of they'll take anything with a name and make a movie out of it now and CG it. But it was like it was a real movie back then. It was like an event kind of to go see these things, and even if the movies didn't turn out to be as good as you wanted them to be, it was kind of cool to see Popeye brought to the screen or Flash Gordon brought to the screen. Now you expect it,
Right. Then it was like, really? Wow. And that was what, Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall, right?
Yeah, and Robert Altman directing. It was a strange movie. I wouldn't mind rewatching it again.
Never saw it.
What do you say about Buster Crabbe?
Oh,
Ray Walston played Poop Deck Pappy, though. Yeah.
Sue, was commenting about the Buck Rogers television series from '79 because Buster Crabbe was a character, and the name of the character that he played too. I don't know if you remember, Sue, was Gordon, and the character of Gordon was kind of taunting, not in a playful way, in a nice way, was taunting Buck Rogers, Gil Gerard's character, saying that he's been doing this kind of stuff since before he was even born. And then Buck, because they're in a space battle, and then Buck says to Gordon, he goes, "So you think so?" And then he goes, "Young man, I know so." And it's the whole thing is because, like you were talking about Buster Crabbe being the original Buck Rogers and also the original Flash Gordon. So it was a nice wink to him doing that in the 1930s.
Yeah. It's funny. He was a polo player in the old serials. I forget what Ivy League school he was at playing polo, but in this one, he's a football player. It's much more relatable now to a contemporary audience, I guess.
Oh yeah,
Matt, we rewatched Popeye last year. Of course you did, Matt. His annual viewing. Yeah.
Andrew, I did not realize that Brian Blessed was in a Blake 7 episode, but truth be told, I've probably only seen maybe 1 or 2 Blake 7 episodes. In fact, there's a story I love to tell. Vince and I don't think Vince is out there tonight, but we were at a Star Trek convention, and it was in 87, 88. It was in the Penta Hotel in New York City. And one of the stars that they were actually having there was actor Paul Darrow, who played the character of Avon on Blake 7, which was one of the leads. He wasn't Blake, but which didn't make sense to me either. But anyhow, everybody was going crazy. The girls were going crazy over this guy. Guys were like, "Oh my God, this, I can't wait to see him," and everything. And everybody was just like going nuts. So I looked at Vince, he looked at me, and I said, "I dare you to say, what is Blake 7?" And I think we would have been like mobbed because of not knowing what it was. But it was never shown in this area. It wasn't on 17 out of Philly. It wasn't on 11 out of New York. And
And before the internet and before wider access to streaming and stuff. Yeah. If you didn't get it from your local stations, you never had any exposure to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had to actually watch it. I think it was on YouTube. And then I actually caught and I heard that like a lot of people talk about the last episode of Enterprise, the episode, the show with Scott Bakula from the Star Trek. It only went 4 seasons. How the last episode was a travesty. I heard a lot of people complaining later on after this that they pretty much hated the last episode of that show, and I went on to watch it. Yeah, and Andrew even said he was the star of the show. Yeah, because the actor that I think Garrett Hunt played Blake, and he wasn't even on for a couple seasons. And interesting enough, I found out that he was in a show that was made in between the 2 production years of Space 1999. It was the show with Judy Geeson, and I can't think of the name of the show at the moment. Somebody out there will know what I'm talking about. Lisa Harrow was in it, Judy Geeson. Oh my goodness. It escapes me. Somebody will get it. Don said it was on PBS Channel 12. Okay. Didn't know that.
The Brian Blessed also turned up in an Avengers episode without the beard.
Oh.
I identified him immediately, of course. But it's like, wow, it's Brian Blessed without a beard.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Jeff, it's another another time, another Lou place. Oh boy. I cannot think of the name of the episode of the show. That's terrible. Oh my goodness. All right, folks. Judy Geeson was in a science fiction TV series back in 19th. Yes. Thank you, Carrie. Carrie, welcome to the show. Thanks for saving me. Star Maidens. I appreciate that. Okay. I couldn't think of it. Jeff is saying, sorry, I really didn't need to put that in. Stupid spell check. Brendan said, I finally watched all the episodes. I watched all of Enterprise on Paramount Plus this summer. I really liked it, especially the last season. The last episode was disappointing, though. Yeah, very disappointing. I did see the final or the last season episodes, and I agree they were really good. And Lou's got a good sense of humor. Leslie saying, plus Brian Blessed was Kevin Costner's dad in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Yes, 1991.
That's another movie I intensely disliked.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you want to do it next week? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, let's do that one.
Anyway.
I got some stuff to say.
Yeah, there you go. Flash Gordon, though, yeah, definitely. Definitely a hero. And your next pick is Superman, Ross. And actually, I had picked Superman, and I see what you did, too.
What'd you do? What is it?
Oh, you can't see it.
Oh. Oh my goodness, look at that. Where'd you get that body, Roy? When was that taken? I'm sorry. That was 1976. Back when Roy still had the body of steel. No, this was an old thing I put together. I don't know if I sent it to you or not. I'm always doing this stupid, artwork and posting it on our page or whatever. But you picked Superman. I had picked Superman, and I didn't change any of my choices. Although Leslie's suggestion and some other people's suggestion of Jor-El, I thought would have been a fun idea. Right. I'd be willing to talk about Jor-El rather than Superman. But yeah, I mean, I love the character of Superman. I love that movie. And I love Christopher Reeve's portrayal of it. I don't think any other actor is ever going to be completely satisfying to me. And in fact, so far, nobody's been even slightly satisfying to me as Superman. I really don't like what they're doing with the character recently. But, I like the old George Reeves, TV show. But, Chris just took it to a whole other level. And, yeah. I don't know. It's funny because mostly as a comic book reader, I was a Marvel guy and Superman was DC. But the movie really hit me. And it was one of those, my stepfather and I really connect on movies. We're very different people, but the movies that we enjoy we don't always allied on these things. But Superman was one of those rare movies where we both just loved it. We still talk about it. It's kind of a bonding. There's a bonding experience for the two of us. So
no, and it's cool that you can have those conversations about films and relate to one another on that level. So that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, yeah. And Jor-El, I mean, come on, that would have been fun to talk about Brando and his his take on Jor-El, which, for as outrageous as he was still so much better than Russell Crowe. As soon as Russell Crowe jumped on that dragon at the beginning of that movie, the person I saw it with leaned over to me and says, are you, what did she say? She said, are you loving hating this yet? Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Ross.
Yeah. I did not like Man of Steel at all.
Yeah. Man, if I saw that Superman coming at me, I'd get ready to leave the planet.
Well, I mean, that's only under the yellow sun of Earth, the red sun of Krypton. He has a very different appearance. Yeah,
that's fun.
So,
there you go. Leslie commented, said Jor-El made the ultimate sacrifice. So did Marlon Brando with his cue cards.
Yeah, the producers made the ultimate sacrifice by hiring Brando. Yeah, this will get him in there.
Yeah, the story was there were cue cards all over the set, and what did he take for that? About maybe several $1 million.
It was in the Guinness book. I remember at the time it was like the highest amount anybody ever got paid for the amount of work that he did on that movie.
Top billing.
Yeah, and top billing. Yeah, it's like, was it that important that they get Brando in the movie? I guess they were really, really not sure in '78 if the movie was going to fly.
Right.
Because just about I remember they auditioned just about everybody, or asked just about everybody to be in the movie, to take the part. And they asked all these big name actors. Some people you would never even
Oh, I know.
Think to be super, like Robert Redford and Charles Bronson, and it's like,
I know.
Thank God they went with an unknown.
Well, $1 million for 2 hours worth of work total. Yeah, that's insane. Hey, Deborah, thanks for joining. Good to see you out there.
Hey,
Sherry said, "Are you my Clark Kent?"
There you go. Only when he's wearing the glasses, Sherry.
Dun, 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 dun,
he
dun,
takes it off.
He
turns into the photo. I was pretty proud of myself that I found that your reaction there. It was a perfect photo for that. You're man of destiny,
There you go.
I think I sent it to you on your birthday or something at some point. You probably didn't even open it.
No, I did. Matt said he still has the highest amount for actual studio time because he got a portion of the profit as well. That's amazing.
Yeah. It kept him in ice cream for the rest of his life. Yeah, because he had all these outrageous demands. Who knows if he was putting them on or not, but he wanted to play Jor-El as a suitcase, or he wanted to play Jor-El as a green bagel. Who knows if he was playing the producers or if he was really like nuts, or maybe a little of both.
A little bit of both, probably.
Yeah. Like he was always trying to ride out of like actually showing up for work. Just wanted to like kind of do his voice over a bagel.
Leslie said Christopher Reeve was the perfect embodiment of the character Goofy Klutzy Clark versus Superman. Yeah. It's interesting because he was not really played like that before. When it was George Reeves, it was he wore a hat and some glasses. And the glasses. Right. I really was a big fan of that show. I remember watching that Channel 11 after school, and I remember thinking, "Oh wow, this is so old," because they would have the copyright dates. At least for the for the color episodes, and it would say 1957. And when I was watching them, I'm like, oh my goodness, that was like 15, 16 years ago. It was so long ago.
I know. And it was, yeah. And it was fun too, because I think John Williams kind of kept that in the back of his head when he wrote the music for the movie, because the music is its own thing, but it really kind of takes that spirit of that fanfare you get at the beginning of the Adventures of Superman with Reeves, and takes it further in the movie.
No, he sure does. Totally agree, Leslie. Or excuse me, totally agree. So totally 100%. Christopher Reeves was the perfect embodiment of Superman / Clark Kent.
Yeah. It's too bad they didn't get more mileage out of that, you know. But you know, now when they make a superhero movie, it's like there's no guarantee. Your movie could be a huge hit, like Wonder Woman or Aquaman, and then they make a second one, and then you're out. It's like, oh, we're recasting, we're gonna reboot. We've got our extended universe or whatever they say, and we brought in a new Aquaman or a new Wonder Woman.
Ross, if we're not careful, the suits are gonna reboot us.
I'm waiting for the day. Where do I sign? Anybody want to buy me out? Then I'll have to drink alone. I gotta watch the movies instead of talk about them. You
know? Oh, look out! Leslie's is eyeing you.
My price is a peach pie. Yeah, Golden Globus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brendan said the Superman series was done the moment they fired Richard Donner on the second one, Sally.
Yeah. It was too bad. Too bad. I enjoyed the second one, but it was not the first one. And it went downhill in a hurry.
Well, then there's the third and the fourth, which we will never do on. Well, I should never say never, but
yeah.
Although we should probably do Never Say Never. That was a really good Bond film.
Max von Sydow as Blofeld. All roads, boy. All roads lead to Max von Sydow tonight.
They really do. Backup Roy's going to pass a kidney stone. Yeah. Past everything else, Matt. That's probably a so don't jinx it, Matt. I'm knocking on wood. Aw, thank you, Leslie. She said she's getting the better end of the deal. Anyway.
Is it the suitcase full of peanut butter sandwiches?
Yeah, but don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
The next on my list. Oh, yeah. Before we hit that.
Oh.
Yeah. Lorenzo Semple wrote Never Say Never Again.
There you go. All roads again. Yeah.
We got all the tie-ins tonight.
Yeah.
My next on the list, family hero, Professor John Robinson, portrayed by Guy Williams. I loved Lost in Space growing up. I still love it to this day. Unfortunately, I would say probably for the second season and the most of the second season episodes with the hand. How does it go, Lou? I always, Lou and I will talk about this like once every 3 or 4 years. It's the first 3 episodes of the second season are good, and then half of the 4th episode of the second season, and then there's maybe 3 or 4 episodes through it, and then the rest are pretty much. And then the 3rd season it kind of picks up and it starts off really good, and then it kind of descends towards the end because everybody remembers the Great Vegetable Rebellion with Tybo the Carrot. But anyway, putting that aside, I really felt that John Robinson really was. He was the family hero. He was the dad. I mean, just the relationship of Professor Robinson with Will Robinson. Anytime they had those special moments was always really cool, and he was always looking out for his family. And just Guy Williams brought his sensitivity as well as his charisma as well as his leadership skills. I mean, to the character, I mean, it was great. And of course, he was Zorro back in the day, back in the 1950s.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you were done talking, I considered putting Zorro on my list. And not specifically his interpretation of Zorro, but the character of Zorro. So there you go. He would have wound up there one way or another, I guess. Interestingly, the Zorro's first appearance, I only ever read one of the Zorro books. It's terrible. It's just he was in a book called The Curse of Capistrano, and it's a piece of garbage. But the movies are so good. It was Douglas Fairbanks Jr. Douglas Fairbanks Sr. who first played him on screen, and then what happened was what's his name? Macaulay. Is it Colston Macaulay? The writer of the book, anyway, took a lot of the characteristics that Fairbanks had brought to the movie and then put them on the character. So maybe the later books are better than the first book, but it kind of gets bogged down in this kind of, not a very helpful kind of romance. By that I don't even know if I mean love story. I just mean just kind of flowery and not in a good way. There's not enough swashbuckling. Yeah.
And what year did that movie come out with Douglas Fairbanks Sr., Ross?
I don't know. Could be the 20s, sometime in the 20s, I would think. Maybe the late teens, but I think the 20s. That was kind of his heyday.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's interesting too that there was so much time in between that and the Disney's version of it.
Well, there was the Tyrone Power one in the 40s. It was a classic.
Right.
And there were other Zorros. There was Zorro's Fighting Legion, which is a big serial that was one of the primary influences, I guess, on Spielberg and George Lucas when they came to do films like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Star Wars. It had a lot of those same kind of gags, like the walls closing in and that sort of stuff. How's he going to get out of it?
Yeah, that seemed to be a recurring type of scenario that would plague them a lot.
And the bullwhip.
The bullwhip.
Yeah.
Leslie, actually, she's saying he's the reason they were lost. No, it wasn't because he didn't ask for directions. What happened was, she's probably joking about it anyway. Dr. Smith sabotaged the robot, which sabotaged the Jupiter 2, which caused them to get lost in space. Brennan said, I liked when Dr. Smith became a hippie in the 3rd season. I forgot the episode's name, though. Oh, that's Collision of the Planets. In fact, Linda Gay Scott, who's very active on Facebook, who I actually had the opportunity to meet at that convention in Maryland, and she was very, very nice. She was actually in that episode.
I liked when Dr. Smith became Charles Dickens on Bonanza.
Did he really?
Did you ever see that episode?
I did not see that.
Okay.
Andrew, unless you're joking. Andrew said, I might get shot down here, but I really like the new Netflix Lost in Space. No, Andrew, you know what? I actually watched the entire 1st season, and it is really good. They did a really great job with it, and I still have to catch up on the 2nd and the 3rd season. And I've heard really good things about it. It's just that I just don't make the comparisons. I just kind of keep that in its own place, and then also with the original. Yeah, I had a feeling you're no kidding where I used to watch it too. Okay, there we go.
Now, does anybody? I know I've told the story before here, but does anybody remember the fact that Roy once went to the shopping center with a paper bag full of dimes to call the Philadelphia station to make sure that they reran the right episodes of Lost in Space, the ones he didn't tape yet?
Actually, it was Space 1999.
Oh, Space 1999. I thought it was Lost in Space. All right.
No, it's all right. But yeah.
Were they sympathetic when you called? Or did they just say, we'll pass it along? Because you used to get people back then. It wasn't just
No, I got through. And
Yeah.
you actually remembered that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Well, it's a crazy story.
It was a crazy story. But I did get somebody, and they said that they would look into it. They never got back to me. But at least I got a live person.
We've got top men on it.
What kind of men?
Top men. We're going to kick this right to the top. Yeah.
And it's funny about that story, Ross. I told that story to the principal at the high school. What was his name? Ken Lutz, I think it was. And that I called and I, got somebody, but then they hung up, and he said, no, you use my phone. He said, use my phone. And he said, try to give him a call.
He was a fan.
True story. He
Yeah.
he thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, I totally forgot about that. And that was probably...
So you're telling me it was on the taxpayer's dime. So some poor sucker in Lapacong Township had to pay for your Space 1999
phone. It would have been the Phillipsburg School District.
No, Phillipsburg. All right. Well, I didn't live there, so I don't care. But it's corrupt, I tell you.
No, he was really, really nice. And anyway.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice way to twist a nice story, Ross. Brennan said, I tried to petition my local station to show Thunderbirds and the other Jerry Anderson shows that didn't go through, though. Oh, Andrew said, I sent a letter to my local TV station and asked them to show my favorite 1999 episodes, and they replied in the 80s.
Yeah.
Did they do it? Andrew? I'm
Yeah.
curious.
What'd they say?
What'd they say? Sue's saying, has anyone said Indiana Jones or Han Solo? Both are 100% authentic heroes. I would agree with you on that, Sue, that they are. But just covering, again, just to finish up in regards to Lost in Space, that was definitely, I think that's actually my last pick, too, as we're winding down.
Hmm.
And she also said, so is Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia.
Too many heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that would have been worth the photo.
Oh my goodness. Don said on my list Matilda May from Life Force. Sorry, I had to. You mean the movie with Patrick Stewart?
Why did I not think of it? I was trying to think of like how to get a woman on the list. But I think that would have backfired though. At least we had a Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, that's true. Andrew said, I still have the letter, and yes, they did show them again at a later date. That's cool. And that's cool that you saved the letter. And that's funny. Some of these. Alrighty. Anyway, bringing that back on. Now going to Ross's next pick.
Matilda May.
That's
hilarious.
Speaking of Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
You retitled it.
What do you mean?
I said Harrison Ford.
Oh. I thought that was a typo.
It's fine though. Indiana Jones, Han Solo, but I just said Harrison Ford because they're both there hugging each other. That's fine. Leave it alone. You're always like trying to.
Russ almost jumped through the video monitor.
You choose different pictures. You label the pictures differently.
Oh man.
I know.
Talk to the boss, Ross.
There we go. Harrison Ford.
Talk to the suits.
But it's the same point, though. Indiana Jones, Han Solo, as Sue said. I don't know. Are they perfect heroes? I don't know. They're flawed heroes, but they're heroes. And I can't think of anybody else who is more influential to other than you, Roy, because you're unusual and you clasp onto these '60s shows. But I can't think of anybody else our age that wasn't in some way, influenced by these guys. Didn't wait for the next Han Solo or Indiana Jones adventure. The lovable rogues.
They were, and that's a great picture, by the way.
Sure. The Heart of Gold. I know. I don't know who did it. I didn't do it.
That's very well done.
Must be AI.
It must be.
How many fingers does he have?
Not enough.
Yeah. So I guess Harrison Ford has expressed a preference for Indiana Jones, I guess, over Han Solo, but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I guess there is a difference between the two of them.
But to Leslie's point, she said, actually, can you say that at any of these characters? If you think about, your favorite movie from 2023, Ross, in regards to the Indiana Jones movie, it's the direction that these characters took. And sadly, the demise of Han Solo, spoiler alert. It's just I don't know.
He had to do that, like that farewell tour where he went around and took all of his iconic parts and just trashed them. I'm just gonna go trash my legacy now.
I don't know.
Here's my check. Yeah.
Well, do you remember? I won't even go there. That's all right.
And anybody who thinks that Dial of Destiny was an improvement over Crystal Skull is just delusional. They're just trying to not cry and say, "Oh, but it's at least it was better than the last one, right? Right?" No, sorry. Sadly, no, it wasn't. It was twice as bad as the last one. But you're allowed to like it.
Movies, huh?
Yeah, I was just displeased with it, and we could do a whole episode, and I'll tell you all the things that were just off with it. It wasn't it's not the thing that people get blamed for, criticizing and say, oh, well, you're a trolly, woman hating, ethnic hater, bad person. It's like, no, the movie was bad. It had nothing to do with any of that.
Don't try to draw a topic in that has nothing to do with the movie. It's just that
Yeah,
either the movie was good or it
exactly.
wasn't.
It's like just make a good movie, or or admit it was a bad movie. Just because somebody doesn't
Exactly.
like your movie doesn't make them, you know, whatever you're calling them.
Well, we could, like you said, Ross, we could even do a whole show on that, because it's like, just because something you don't like something doesn't mean that you have to.
Yeah,
There has to be some kind of I don't know, something attached to it. Let's say, without
like
even
some kind of
saying it.
moral, ethical, or
Yeah, it
you
just
know, obnoxious, political subtext. No, it's just bad.
it's just a movie we just didn't
Yeah,
like.
yeah. So take that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's we don't want to be negative though,
No,
because I
absolutely
know
not.
there are people out there that are loving that movie right now. I don't know any of them personally, but I guess you liked it.
What, the last?
Indiana Jones movie.
I was not a fan of the last Indiana Jones film. Are you kidding
Oh,
me?
all
Did you?
right.
Are you serious?
Well, I mean, maybe because I disliked it so intensely, it seemed like you liked it.
I
A degree. You liked it a degree more than I did.
I probably liked it a little bit better, a little more so than you did. But
Yeah.
honestly, I was not. I mean, besides seeing Harrison Ford back in the role,
Yeah.
I was not a fan of that film. I felt that that film was, I mean, not to go down the rabbit hole and be negative, but it's just that I found that film to be very depressing.
Yeah.
And it's not what I was looking for, as far as, it was great to see him in the role again, but, and I'm
Yeah.
being redundant, but that's pretty much where it ended. It was kind of cool what they did with the beginning effects, although the one thing, with the CGI, or the CGI, where they de-aged him. However, they didn't do any, they didn't compensate for his voice, and I don't know
Yeah.
how they let that go. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess the problem was I was expecting more from that film,
Yeah.
and I probably should not have been, and I was disappointed. And then on top of that, it was the direction his character went, and then it was also the inconsistencies with other characters. And to your
Yeah.
point, it has nothing to do about whether the person was a male or female. I don't. It's just the one character was very inconsistent, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, and like everyone, like Star Wars, like uh, any of these movies, that the innocence is lost. That we had in '77 and
True.
'81.
Yeah.
When it becomes, the violence becomes heightened, everything becomes dark and becomes kind of, edgy and mean. I knew when I didn't like I was hoping I would at least like the opening, because I knew they de-aged them for the opening. And I was hoping, okay, they're going to have Nazis. This is going to, maybe they'll do something, vintage here. But when they blew that whole opening, I knew that this is going to be a long movie.
Yeah.
And it was a long movie. The movie did not have to be, what was it, 2.5 hours or something, 2 hours and 40 minutes. It did not have to be that long.
No, it did not. It was way too long.
But you know what? I'm digressing.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I love the character, and there's another good example for it, because I know that you didn't like the second film. You didn't like Temple of Doom.
No.
And I concede it was not a strong movie. There was aspects of it that I enjoyed, or that I liked and saw what they were trying to do with it. But I liked the character. I still liked the movie.
I'll say this: I probably enjoyed Temple of Doom more than I enjoyed the last one, which is
Oh,
saying
absolutely.
a lot. And that's saying a lot for me, because I
Yeah.
am not a fan of Temple of Doom. Not Dune. I've probably only seen it 3 times, and one of them was in the theater back in '84 when it came out,
Mm.
and 2 times after that. So no,
You know what? Yeah.
Go.
You know what I thought would have been a great sequel? I did, what's his name? Kei Kwan, Short Round.
Sure.
Has now that he, this was right before he took off.
Yeah.
If they had brought him back to be Indy's sidekick and just done the third movie again, except this time Indy is Connery and Short Round is, you know what I mean? They could have done a generational thing. It would have been, the fans would have loved it. It would have been light, and it would have been a fun adventure. And I thought, wow, what a great idea. It's like, I wish that I had, come up with this idea, and I'd done that. And then I just read not too long ago that actually was an idea that they were kicking around at some point. I don't know why they didn't pursue it.
It's so frustrating when you hear stories like that where there is some kind of consideration that's being given about doing a story like that, and then they decide to go with what they decide to go to. And the way some of these films get made, I don't know. I don't know if it's the demographics. They feel that it's not going to be appealing, and I get it. It's a movie is being made to make money. That's at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I mean, sure, there's fan elements, and there's the piece of it where the entertainment, and if there's people that enjoy the character, but it's just so frustrating that good filmmaking, these bad movies get made, and I don't know.
Well, and the other thing was that since Harrison Ford was so big, and he was dealing with Spielberg and dealing with Lucas, who after all created the character or came up with the idea, everybody wanted script approval. So it'd always be like, oh, I like this, but this needs work or whatever. So they would go back and then everybody's working. So it would go back on the drawing board while everybody did 3 or 4 movies. Then they go back to it again. So it would take all these years to come up with another script. And finally, what you get is like Crystal Skull, or what you get is Dial of Destiny. It's like, really? Is this what you were waiting to? Yeah, this script is great. I'll do it now. This is the perfect script.
And here's the other frustrating part. This is where it gets political. If he had done that, if this movie had been on the drawing board, let's say a year after he got the Academy Award, they probably would have went with that then, because they'd be like, oh, he's an Academy Award winning actor. So, we can, and that's the frustrating part. That's where the politics play into it. It's not about the creativity. It's not about the story. It's not about what the fans would love to see. It's because they're seeing the dollar signs because he's an Academy Award winner now.
Couldn't they have waited one more year and then they could have done it?
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just
they pulled the trigger too soon.
Yeah,
they could have had Short Round back.
They could have, and anyway. Oh well, we digress.
I know. Let's get out of here because I'm not saying anything about the character. I'm not saying anything about the character. Move on to the next one.
Matt said, "Public service announcements. Everyone, go get your shingles."
Matt has shingles. Sorry.
Oh, Matt. Feel better, Matt. Feel better.
Yeah. I was thinking of you, Leslie, with that. I said, oh, I should have redone my list and put Orca in there for Leslie.
We just watched a movie with Richard Harris. What was it? Oh my goodness. It was I can't think about it. I can't even tell you. I can't remember. Oh my God. The 57-year-old moment is coming through.
Was it a man called Horse or anything like that, or
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.? No, it wasn't Harry Potter, Brennan. Oh my goodness, what were we watching? It was
where he's the terrorist. Was it Juggernaut? Was it
no? Oh no! Yes, Patriot Games. There we go. Shari for the win.
Okay. Another Harrison Ford.
Yeah, exactly. A Harrison Ford film. So anyway. There we go. So you said the Lost Crusade was a great film. The pairing of Harrison.
Yeah, it would have been a good place to end it.
It would have been. I love that film. Yeah. I very, very much enjoyed it. If they would have if they would have done it with Short Round, it would have been $2 billion.
Yeah, would have made $2 billion. It sure would have. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, now this is my last pick, and my last pick is Ellen Ripley.
Badass hero. There you go.
Yeah.
And another character that, okay, I'm sorry. I always jump on your choices. Go ahead.
Okay. No, it's just another character that pretty much was part of a situation. I mean, I'm not saying she wasn't a strong character, because she was. However, she was put into that situation, and then it really propelled her to the next level because of what was going on. I mean, she literally had a fight to survive. She was trying to save her crew members, and she was the last person standing, I'll say, in the first movie. And then Frozen, another example of James Cameron, we were talking about earlier with the second film, the sequel. Aliens, we've talked about on this show, as well as Alien, two favorite movies. I kind of lean more so for Aliens, but again, they're similar because of the topic, but they're completely different. One is more of a horror movie, Alien, and Aliens is more of a sci-fi type adventure film. And really, it's like, let's get the bad guys, get the aliens, and she rose to the occasion on that. And again, she's almost like the last person standing, literally, because Michael Bihn's character is pretty much taken out, and the other character was Bishop. He was an android, and then there was Newt.
And Newt, right. And the second one's such a good movie, and she's a resilient character to begin with in the first film. But they Ridley Scott, or I don't know who to credit, but they really went out of their way to make her vulnerable in that movie, being the last person on the ship. And people still were not accustomed actually to the women being the hero. Usually when you put a woman in a situation like that, it's like Halloween. You're getting stalked by the implacable force, Michael Myers or whatever. And of course Jamie Lee Curtis does survive, so many times. But she's in her underwear, and she's in that escape capsule or whatever, and there's only one way out, and there are all kinds of things that were against Ripley in that one. And then the second one, they bring her back, and they pull kind of the Linda Hamilton thing with her. She's even though it's not like she was training hard, they bring her out of the suspended animation and just throw her in with the troops. But she certainly holds her own. And then she has the whole maternal instinct, or at least it's set up like that, for the confrontation at the end with the two mothers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Deborah comments, and she said, "Follow Affleck and Damon and get your movie script funded. Lots of laughs. I dated Cameron." Deborah, you dated James Cameron?
What?
Wow.
Why were you not in one of his movies?
And Leslie said, Ross, The Last Girl is much different from Ripley.
The Last Girl.
Last Girl.
The Last Girl. The Lost Girl?
Lost Girl?
The Last Girl? I don't know. It's cryptic.
Yeah. Can you add a little bit to that, Leslie? And Deborah, definitely.
James Cameron.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Mm. Did you go bowling?
What?
I mean, go on a date with James Cameron. What are you going to
do? Yeah, I will, Deborah. I'll give you a buzz.
Mini golf. Oh, call me tomorrow. Okay, so you're going to get the dirt, but we're not going to find anything out about this. Okay.
And Leslie is saying, "Last girl" is the common phrase used to describe the survivor.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, last girl standing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, Sorry. I never actually heard. I was thinking "Last Girl Standing," maybe. But
yeah, I never heard the term, but the trope is there. The cliche, right?
Yeah. Interesting. Hey, we're finding all this stuff out on the show.
Yeah.
Matt said, "And who would have guessed that?" God, Matt.
Razor, mirror.
Oh.
Bilbo.
Sherry's saying my apple pie is going to be late. There's a tractor trailer stuck on the little bridge. No.
Things aren't going your way.
They're not.
First the Ghostbusters confession, and now the pie is on the bridge. I don't think the pie's going to make it, Roy. I don't think there is any traffic jam on the bridge. I think Sherry's just buying time. She's in Canada right now with your pie.
With the pie. She's holding the pie hostage. But anyway, in regards to now, I don't know if I asked you that. Which alien movie is your favorite, Ross? Or
I like both of them. Both. There's all these alien movies. Which alien's your favorite movie? Both of them. Because I like the first two. I guess the second one's the most fun, if you could call it that. but I like the first one too.
Yeah,
They're both really well done. So
they are. They
it's hard
really
to
are.
choose. They're different movies. Great cast in the first one.
Oh my God, yeah, definitely.
It's very atmospheric, and you know, the alien itself. It's the first time you encounter it. The xenomorph.
Yep.
Um,
And
one
like
of
I
the
said earlier, it really is more of a horror film than
yeah
than
set
an
in
action
space.
adventure.
And
Yeah.
again, it was fresh, because it was
Mhm.
1979, and we hadn't been hammered with it. When we had that kind of movie set in space, it was like kind of a B movie in the 50s or 60s. Yeah, it didn't have the production values of Alien.
No, no, definitely not. And what was really cool too about Aliens is there was the extended footage.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, right. There was extended footage in Alien too. I remember falling asleep not too long ago, within the last 10, 15 years, watching on TCM. I fell asleep on the sofa and I woke up, and it was like so surreal. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on? I knew it was Alien, but there was a scene in there that I had never seen before. And I realized it's because, or I learned that they put that, of course, there's always a director's cut, and they put a couple of scenes back in there. Ridley put a couple of scenes back in that were deleted from the movie.
yeah, and you know what's
And that's
interesting
what I
about
had
that?
woken up for. Yeah.
I remember reading the novelization, and there was a scene where in Alien where Dallas is Ripley comes upon Dallas and he's cocooned,
Right.
and he wants to try to get him out of it, but it's too late because he's starting to decompose and everything, and and then what
Yeah.
she does, she torches him. But it was something that actually was filmed, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. It was
Well,
kind of
it was
grisly. I mean, I kind of liked it without that part. But
yeah, but
yeah.
um,
And plus it slows down her escape from the ship.
right. Lou's got blueberry pie.
No,
There we go.
I'm heading up
Um,
there, heading up to Providence or wherever he is.
yeah, and then Leslie said, "Roy, the first two are quite different. Jump scare versus action." No, totally, Leslie, totally with you. I'm not a big fan of the third and fourth film, actually.
Mm.
Brendan saying the first Alien for me. The second one is a little dated now, just a little. Still love it though. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Harry Dean Stanton, Matt, right? And then Leslie, yep, Alan Dean Foster wrote the novelization.
Right.
And also talking about the first Alien as well as the Aliens, Brian Johnson did the special effects, Space
Mm-hmm.
1999,
Which
which
is
is
still look great. Yeah.
absolutely. Brennan said, watch the special features on the Alien DVD. There were a ton of deleted scenes that I remember from the Alan Dean Foster novelization. Yeah, exactly. It's so cool. So anyway, yeah, but definitely Ripley's character, and yeah, she was a badass hero. So next on the list is going to be Roy Neary, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Ross's pick.
Yeah, I chose this because his name's Roy.
There
No,
you go.
I always liked the character of Roy Neary because no matter what impediment you put in his way, he's got the drive and the vision, and he overcomes everything together. It's kind of like a precursor to Indiana Jones in its way, though more rooted in the everyday. It's not as heightened. I mean, he's dealing with extraterrestrials and stuff, but it's very grounded in the everyday experience of the 1970s, the suburbia. With the he has the troubled marriage, and he's got the nowhere job where he's working for the power company, and he's got the like the Gladys Kravitz neighbor who's watching him all the time. and all this stuff, and then he has this vision, and he's just got to ignore all the warnings and the military and everything else, and just get there and have this kind of communion with the extraterrestrials. So I just thought it was a great character and a great movie. Yeah. Spielberg said that if he did it today, he wouldn't have left the family. It would have been a crappy movie. So sometimes you just can't, just leave it alone. I'm glad, to Spielberg's credit, he does leave it alone. I mean, they did that gimmick with they did the gimmick with ET, but he went back and said that the original was the one you should watch. And the same thing with this one. You're right, because they rushed it through because they had to get the film out, and there were a couple of things he wanted to, a couple of scenes he wanted to get in there. He wanted to cut certain scenes a different way. So they did that special edition of Close Encounters that was in theaters. And the big gimmick, they said, we'll give you the money, but we want to go inside the ship and see what's in there. And Spielberg was pretty good with pretty clever with that, because he takes you into the ship, but you don't see anything. So, but it doesn't add anything to the movie. So it's Close Encounters is one of the few movies of that sort where there are multiple cuts, where none of them really make me angry. I prefer not to go inside the ship, but there were things in the special edition that I liked, and even in the TV cut, where they combine the two of them. There's a third cut, or third or fourth cut that where he kind of gets it back to the optimal experience. That's the one that they always show on TCM and on when Fathom resurrects it in the theaters. So, but anyway,
I always used to look forward to, and it's not so much we're privy to now, because there's a million channels out there. And if you want to watch a movie, it's not like back in the day when we were growing up, where you would go to the movie theater. If the movie was in the theater for maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then what would happen is it would drop off. And then only then it would be maybe a couple of years. It would be like the ABC movie of the week, and you would get to see it. And then might be some extended footage with it, because it was being shown on television, or they would edit it, for, viewer discretion is advised or whatever. And they would chop it to heck. But anyway, a lot of times, like, we were privy to that, the extra scenes. I think they did it with again, it's going to go back to Trek, folks. Always does. All roads lead to Star Trek. They would do it like with Star Trek, the motion picture. I think Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, there were those extra scenes that were cut out. And then Nicholas Meyer went back and he did his director's cut. And we were privy to more of that, the scenes where I think with Scotty, with his nephew, we find out, what exactly happened. And it's not with him just, with McCoy in the sick bay, and Kirk having that scene with McCoy, Kirk and McCoy talking about Khan, that it's not just a guy that he hasn't seen in 15 years that's out there, but he really kind of delves a little bit more into the character, why, Khan is out for revenge, and Kirk is beating himself up about, the mistakes that he made. It's just those special character moments. And there are only a couple extra minutes here and there, but they really are nice trinkets that really add to the films. And nowadays, I mean, it's like the movie goes out to the theater and then it's out, and then like 3 weeks later it's available, whether on DVD or you can stream it. So
right.
It's a different time. Yeah. Hey, Dennis, want to say hi to Dennis Chevalier. He's joining us. He's joining us.
Hi, Dennis.
Good to see you out there, Dennis.
The other thing I liked about I shouldn't say the other thing I liked, but one of the good things about the special edition of Close Encounters is that Spielberg actually got John Williams to write some extra music for it, because too often when they cut these movies, they chop up the music, and it really is like when they redid E.T. at that pivotal moment when they're going to take flight at the end, the music just, it's because of what he did with the film. They cut out the guns and put in the walkie-talkies and cut out some of the more frightening images and what have you. There's a jump there. It's like it's not fluid anymore. And with Close Encounters, he did have John Williams write an extended piece of music that went through that whole sequence inside the ship, and it wasn't jarring like a lot of the things are. Once the composers moved on to other projects, or the movie is decades old, like even Richard Donner, when he went back and did his director's cut of Superman or what have you, it was all a mess, because they would try to loop the music, or it just didn't match the images anymore.
Right. Yeah, and then it's almost sloppy to that point.
Yeah.
Brennan comments. He said there's one cut with Carl Weathers, but I rarely see it. Wow. Okay.
I thought that he was in the original cut. Am I wrong?
I wasn't even aware of that, so that's kind of cool to
Because
know.
I thought he was in it from the beginning, but I may be mistaken. Because I thought I recognized him. That's why. Yeah.
Brennan said they showed how Kirk got the blood stains on his tunic, which was in mysterious. And yes, exactly. Good point. Scott, thanks for joining the show tonight. And he said Roy became my hero when he made the giant model in his living room. Yeah,
absolutely.
Good point, Scott.
Yeah, nothing by half measures with this guy. And the potatoes, of course.
And the potatoes. That's right. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Heroes of Sci-Fi.
Yep.
So do we have one last hero?
That was it, Ross. Oh, I guess. Oh, Ross did have one. Ross did have a hero that he actually had.
Is there another hero there?
There probably is. Any last minute comments on Roy Neary though before I pop that up?
I think.
When was the last time you saw that movie, Ross?
Within the last 2 years, I think. Yeah, and I saw it in the theater not too long ago. Probably within the last 5 years. Maybe before the pandemic. I think they reissued it as a Fathom. Might have been an anniversary. Well, when was it out? It's out in '77. So
70, yeah, because it was right out. It was right after Star Wars, wasn't it?
Right. So it would have been. When would it have been? 2017. Was there a round anniversary?
There was probably the 40th anniversary. Thinking about it,
maybe I saw it in 2017, which would have been longer ago than I expected. But I did see it since then also. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. And I think I saw the special edition, but
you know what? Did you see it in the theater at least, or no?
I think so. Yeah.
The first time you see that movie in the theater, I mean, especially back then, in the '70s, it was just mind blowing. I mean, because you didn't know what you were dealing with. You think, is this a horror movie? Yeah, things are a little dicey there for a bit, and then you have kind of that elation that comes with the relief that and there are fun touches along the way. It becomes more of an adventure story. But at the beginning, you don't know what's going to happen there. You have this spooky scene in the truck with the mailboxes. It's so masterfully done. And you have the whole thing with Barry with the with the trees blowing around and the orange light coming through the blinds and the toys acting up. Yeah.
It seems like forever ago. Oh my god!
And then when the mothership came over the Devil's Tower the first time, I thought I was going to lose my mind. The whole theater was vibrating. It's like, oh my god, how big is this thing? Yeah, the good old days when you could be awed by movies. Now it's like I go, whatever. Yeah, it's just like I'm sure I'm going to go whatever when I see the sandworms.
Let me see some of the comments coming through. Andrew said, days of your lives would drive you to do that.
Oh, right, because that was on the television with the
Budweiser. Right, yeah. McDonald Carey.
Yeah, I considered Mad Max. We only had what? What did we choose? 10 or something?
We chose 10 amongst us, and that was the reason. Yeah. I mean, and Matt even said no Adam West. I thought of him as well. Absolutely, Matt.
That would have been fun. Well, we'll do it again sometime, maybe.
Yeah, Andrew said that great Aussie film for Mad Max. Absolutely.
Because it was really kind of with the Budweiser. It was kind of half and half our selections. We didn't choose our absolute. We chose some of our favorites, but I think some of them were just kind of to make it interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Leslie's saying, Roy, we watched the special edition at my house on Laserdisc. Man, That must have been a while ago. Jeez. Laserdisc. Douglas Trumbull was my hero. Yeah, Douglas Trumbull. In fact, Lou, that's out there, actually got to speak with Douglas Trumbull in person. He met with him, which is really cool. Dennis said, I made Devil Towers out of my mashed potatoes still.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, the pie's in the house. Yay!
Oh, wow. It's downstairs, Roy. We better wrap this up.
Summer of '83, Leslie. My God. Wow. That's crazy. I remember the summer of '83 like it was yesterday.
Yep.
That sound when the ship responded, fantastic overthrow. Yeah, and you know what's interesting? They used that same key pattern in a James Bond movie. Anybody remember which James Bond movie that was? My trivia question.
Moonraker. Oh, shh. I didn't say it.
He said it.
No, I didn't say it. I
Yeah,
didn't realize you were tossing it out for everybody.
it's all right. And then the last hero, this was Ross's last pick, the Hoagie guy.
Oh, I didn't put the Hoagie guy.
I did.
You ruined the joke because it's a hero.
Oh,
I put Hero of Sci-Fi. See,
Oh,
Roy, you're always trying to improve the joke and you ruin it.
I didn't even know that you put. I didn't even see what you wrote.
It's Hero of Sci-Fi because it's a hero.
I get it.
And I'm wearing the sci-fi shirt. Oh, the hell with it. That's it. It's
Ross-
over. It's over. Screw it.
Ross is going to get vulgar now. He's going to turn into the incredible Ross.
I'm totally demoralized. What a horrible start to my weekend. I'm going to go take the gas pipe. I've lost the will to live. There you go. Hero of Sci-Fi.
I didn't even see that you wrote that, or else I would have kept it.
All right.
That's
There
funny.
you go. Yeah. All right. That guy should have played Gandalf.
Leslie says we missed a beard.
Yeah, I kind of miss it a little bit too.
Sue said classic Ross.
Oh, okay.
Classic Ross Amico. I like your
There
joke
you
a
go.
lot.
See,
It's
she
funny.
liked it. All
Don't
right.
suck up. Don't suck up to him.
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
Don't encourage him. Lots of laughs. More gas. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I thought of Data too, Andrew. I was
Roy
thinking
gaps it and Ross takes the gas pipe.
Yeah. Data was definitely a good choice. No, it's
Yeah, we only had 10. Next time.
yeah.
Next time.
Sorry to ruin your jokes, Ross.
That's okay. Nobody
You know what's funny? I
What?
actually was gonna go and check to see if I missed something because I had a feeling in the back of my mind as I was trying to get this all set up while we're doing the show that Ross that you may have had something with it, and I thought nah, and then
Nah.
nah.
Well, the reason, the reason I did it the way I did it this time too, because we sent it so that we couldn't see what we each did. We wanted to surprise each other on the air. And what I did this time is I put the photo with the description under the photo, because when I did it above the photo, it showed up in the subject line. You can read it.
Right.
But when that's why I put all those asterisks across to kind of like cloud your vision, so you wouldn't see it until. So you would have missed Hero of Sci-Fi if you weren't looking for it.
Truth be told, I didn't need the asterisks to cloud my vision.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, that was good, Ross. That was good.
I'm glad it's over. Yeah, Roy and I had a pretty busy day today.
Yeah.
So we kind of slapped that together. Roy did all the heavy lifting at the end.
It's all good. We got it through, and I was copying and pasting as we were doing the show as I was putting yours in. So it's all good.
That's why you seem more involved than usual.
Yeah, well, there was no other way to do it. I mean, if we were going to be surprised, that was you were going to be surprised because you didn't know what I put.
True.
And then I was being surprised when I was seeing it for the first time and then reacting. So no, I think this was a fun type of show to do. I think that really worked out well.
I can't believe we went another 2 hours with it.
Yeah.
Especially since we did the first 6 last time. We'll never go 2 hours.
Never say never. That's the next movie.
Padding. Oh my God, it's 2 hours. Let's get off.
Anyway, so we're going to go to the shout outs real quick, folks. If you have any last minute comments, please put them in the comments section. And as we like to say, we are bringing you creative awareness through our shout outs. So with that said, Sci-Fi Distilled, our friends Mike and Mary Beth, on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, because we will be changing the clocks at least on the East Coast, well, in different areas as well, an hour ahead. So we're going to lose an hour. So Mike and Marybeth will be covering bad TV shows we enjoy watching. So check them out, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Wednesday, March 13th. Also, a shout out to, again, my friend Bill out there, Bill Scarrato from Country Gate Players. And we just got done doing a marathon murder mystery weekend last week. We did it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that was a lot of fun. And that was part of the reason why you and I think the last time we saw each other, at least on the air, Ross, was 2 weeks ago. Anyway, Country Gate is back, kicking off the 52nd season with Neil Simon's The Odd Couple. The dates for the show are April 20th and 21st and April 27th and 28th. Go to the website www.countrygate.org for information, especially if you're in the Belvedere area of New Jersey. And also definitely check out Bill's website, web address, which is www.billscarrato.com. And also, I want to give a shout out to The Eagle Obsession, the documentary. Jeffrey Morris was just on last Sunday. We did a special showing, which was on at 8:30. The movie is in production. To find out updates about the movie, you can visit the website. It is www.eagledocumentary.com. And it's going to be very exciting, very cool. Definitely check it out. Also want to say that there is a Indiegogo in effect right now. The goal is to raise an additional $50,000 towards the production of the film. If you can, definitely just check it out. Again, it's on the website, information of The Eagle Obsession. And that will be going on for, I believe, the next 16 days. So definitely check it out before the end of the month. And also Captain Phil's Planet. Captain Phil is on WUSB 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York. The captain's schedule is on Friday nights. He's on right now at 9 to 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. And also a shout out to our friends at Trek Talking, a Star Trek podcast. We thank them for the support of this show, and definitely listen to them. You can click onto Facebook and hear them in regards to their podcast. Also, another shout out to Martha for Studio One Thrift. Studio One Thrift does have a physical store location. It is in Stroudsburg. You can visit the website because you can also order online. Go to the website to register. It's www.studioonethrift.com. Martha offers quality, stylish, affordable clothes for both men and women. You can also receive styling tips and informational updates. All you need to do is register. And with that, I want to give a shout out to Martha because she does live shows that are once a month, and she has different guest hosts. And what will happen is there'll be featured models featuring different clothing that's offered. She invited me to host this next show. So I'm going to be doing that live, and it will be on Monday, March 25th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Again, I'm going to be a special guest host for this, so that'll be a lot of fun. And I'm going to try to see if I can stream it actually on the show's page. But again, that is going to be for StudioOneThrift.com. And you definitely, Martha's really great as far as styling. And then also, if you have any questions or anything that you want to find out about the clothes that she offers there. So definitely check that out.
So are you going to be offering fashion tips, or is there an intervention and they're going to like do a do-over with you?
No, what's going to be happening is I'm going to be actually hosting it and telling about the different folks that are going to be coming out and what they're going to be, wearing and stuff. So no, I'm just going to be there as a representative.
So they're not going to do a makeover with Roy.
No.
Okay.
But to be fair, though, Martha has actually definitely helped me out with getting different clothes and what have you. So definitely, I'm giving the plug to definitely check it out. And again, it's going to be March 25th. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
All right.
And want to give a shout out to my friend Warren for the Space 1999 convention that is coming up. It is going to be in London this year. It is going to be in September. The dates are September 11th through the 17th of 2024. It's going to be the big one, folks. One of the big ones. I mean, we are in the 50th anniversary territory of Space 1999. Production started on December 3rd of 1973 and ended back in December of 1976. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things coming up, but this one is going to be this September. For information, you can visit the website at www.space199950years.com. And again, that'll be information about the convention. Also, I don't have a special slide for this, but I'm going to be having Warren on September 17th, which is a Sunday. It's not, excuse me, September 17th, March 17th. It's not this Sunday. It's the following Sunday. It's going to be at a special time it will be at actually 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So that will allow folks that are overseas in Europe to be able to come on and to watch. It won't be so late there. And again, I will be posting about that. So just stay tuned. And again, for the convention updates, www.space199950years.com. And Ross, if you can let everybody know what you've got going on with the weekend ahead.
All right, it's Academy Awards weekend. And regardless of what you think of the film industry or the ceremony itself, Lord knows I've got my beef. It's a great opportunity to dig in for the classic film music. So all of these shows in one way or another deal with film music. And we just missed the first one. Picture Perfect just ended at 9:00. That was a legendary concert from the Hollywood Bowl that featured just about every famous classic film composer conducting their own music. Sweetness and Light is tomorrow morning. That's a show of usually lighter music, but it's all classic film themes tomorrow, beginning at 11:00 Eastern. And The Lost Chord on Saturday night, tomorrow night at 7:00 Eastern, is concert music by film composers. I have a concerto by James Horner, and I have another one by Jerome Moross, the guy who wrote music for The Big Country and The Valley of Gwangi and films like that. They're all airing on KWAX at the University of Oregon. That's the URL there at the top of the page there. And I've already put a little something up on my Facebook page at Classic Ross Amico. So the link is on there also. And
I just shared it in the comment section also too, Ross.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I will tease it again in the morning before the next show airs. But that's what I'm doing this weekend. So and it'll all be done in plenty of time, so you can go get your popcorn and your buffalo wings, and you can sit down and dish on the Oscars and talk about how bad the music was this year and everything else. Yeah, watch Oppenheimer win. Yeah, settle in and watch Oppenheimer win. Yeah,
it's gonna be an interesting Academy Award for sure.
Hopefully nobody gets slapped. Yeah.
Well, was that last year or was it the year before?
Couple of years. I think. Yeah. Time flies, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. All righty. So, and let me see.
Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana.
It really does. Now, I'm going to actually be visiting with my friend, actually Lou Place that's out there. We're going to be going to Rhode Island over the weekend. Well, actually leaving tomorrow. So just to let folks know, we're not sure yet. We may do a special presentation up there tomorrow night, possibly, but I'm not sure if we're going to do it. But just to let you know, Lou's actually working on another film that he's doing, and he's very gracious to ask me to be a part of it. So I'm looking forward to going up there. Going to be doing that. So that will be tomorrow, but we may possibly just do maybe a mini broadcast tomorrow night. So I'm not sure if we're going to, but we'll see. It's up in the air. But what I can say is that William Shatner's birthday is actually coming up next week. It is going to be on the 22nd, which is going to be next Friday. Now, Ross and I are actually not going to be broadcasting together next week. Ross has got prior commitments. And the other thing is, for the folks out there that don't know, that William Shatner actually has a movie coming out next Friday, which is called You Can Call Me Bill, which is pretty cool. So that is going to be arriving in the theaters. It's scheduled to premiere next Friday, the 22nd. However, at some locations, you may be able to see it on the 21st. if you're lucky. So going to try to catch that if possible. Don't know how that's going to go, but we're going to see. But anyway, in regards to next Friday, I thought it would be only appropriate to actually do a show honoring William Shatner, because it is going to be his, which is incredible to think, is going to be actually his 93rd birthday, if you can believe that. And so next week will be episode 224, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a tribute to William Shatner and his 93rd birthday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I'll be just talking about some of the different movies that he's done, talking about his career. If folks want to pop on via the StreamYard, I can send you the link and you can just come on and talk about William Shatner for a little bit, kind of be like an open mic discussion with me, and just try to keep it flowing, maybe just for, a few minutes at a time for each person. And it'll make it a little bit different for next Friday. But I thought it was, if you're a William Shatner fan and you want to, or if you're a Star Trek fan, we could talk about William Shatner. I thought it'd be a nice way, and considering next Friday is his actual birth date. So I thought that would be fun. So that is what we got planned. And that's it.
We're going to catch that movie, aren't we?
We are going to try to catch that movie, Ross. That'll be next Thursday. So I'll keep you posted on that. Anyway. But I want to say thank you to the folks out there. Thanks for hanging in there a little bit tonight. We went a little late, but we started a little late. We definitely, Ross has been very busy with his stuff. I've been very busy with a lot of stuff I'm dealing with. Also, just want to say, we had Squeaker hasn't been feeling good, so please send positive thoughts and prayers to Squeaker. He is so lovable and affectionate and adorable, and so just please send pleasant vibes your way for him. And he actually is going to be 10 this year, but we're hoping that he's going to be okay. But it's been kind of a stressful week with that. So Sherry and I appreciate that. And as we always like to say, live long and prosper. Like I said, possibly we'll broadcast tomorrow, but if not, I'll definitely let everybody know. And hope to see you all soon.
Have a good weekend. Don't forget to change your clocks.
Don't forget to change your clocks. Yes. And also, one thing I will ask is, if you haven't already, please make sure to, if you haven't liked or if you haven't followed the show's page, please do so, not only on Facebook, but also YouTube. And please share the show too if you enjoy it, because it just really helps to get it out there and help with the numbers and everything. It's much, much appreciated. And thanks again, folks. And live long and prosper. Bye-bye.